A pleasant good morning to everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. Yours truly, Carlos Brown, survived here live after a weekend, last weekend in Atlanta, Georgia. Great experience at the Celebration Bowl. I want to thank Michelle Jinks and everyone involved with the Celebration Bowl. It had been a while since I had been, but let me tell you, I enjoyed it, and everything was first class. Here's what's coming up on the Coles Brown Show. Our guest menu, we have a very special guest, Coach Terrance Graves, head football coach at Southern University, will join us on the show, and we'll have a interesting and great conversation with Coach Graves. What's trending? What's trending on the Coles Brown Show? Jackson State Tigers are the 2024 Celebration Bowl champions and also HBCU football champions. Congratulations to Jackson State. They were the best team all year. They were the most consistent team all year, and a great crowd participation at the Celebration Bowl. So hats off to Jackson State. The impact of the transfer portal, and we'll get into this throughout the show, specifically in hour number 2. Some interesting news as far as the impact of the transfer portal. Last but not least, coaching additions and some new JUCO news as far as eligibility. And we'll get the panel's perspective on all of those stories that are trending. Now, speaking of the panel, let's bring them in one by one. Good morning, Charles Edmond. Good morning, Coach Pettaway. And good morning and good afternoon, Willa Brown himself, the
Good
hard
afternoon, gentlemen. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Now, Willa, I know you're in Baltimore, and there's a big game coming up.
Yes, indeed.
So I don't want you to walk over the edge now if it doesn't work out.
No, I'm gonna stay off. I'm gonna stay off the ledge, Carlos. For God. Either way, I'm gonna stay off the ledge. But the boys got to come through today. They got to come through today.
Look, I understand. Coach Pettaway.
Yes, sir.
Good morning to you, and we're going to kind of get into some interesting conversation about this new JUCO ruling as far as from the NCAA, but just your first early take on it.
Well, I think it's just like anytime they come up with something new, it's going to take an adjustment period. But I see this hurting the high school kids. You know, if they're gonna extend eligibility for these JUCO players like that, why would a coach go get a high school player? Get that JUCO player who's got some experience, and you still got him for a number of years. I really think it's going to hurt high school recruiting.
And you know, I've kind of been searching the social media sphere, and some coaches, some former coaches. I text message you one, and that's the prevailing thought perspective by most coaches. There are those on the other side that believe that, you know, it's not going to be as bad as some would say, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Charles, you're on the road again. Where art thou heading?
I'm heading back to Birmingham. I'm in Tuscaloosa right now, and our men play UAB tomorrow at 1:00. Last week I was in Birmingham. Our women played UAB, so it's the final game before the holiday, and then after the holiday we go to Ole Miss. Our women play Ole Miss, so it's been crazy. It's been hectic, and it's tough when you hadn't won a doggone game, and so that's what makes it brutal. You would like to see a win or two in the column, but it hasn't happened. We're banged up. Everybody is during non-conference, but we're struggling to get it done. But right now, I'm in Tuscaloosa, heading to Birmingham.
Well, I'll throw out the first little jab there. It's good to have, put it this way, and in the chat room, your team, your alumni, your team, do you have at least a couple of wins in non-conference? I know my school has 5 and some big ones, you know, but I won't bore you, and we won't get into a big conversation again about these non-conference games. It is what it is. But Charles, you're a tough guy to be able to broadcast and go to these different places, and boy, it's just tough. But the good thing is, it's always conference play, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, what makes it, what makes it tough is that we've actually had two games that we should have won that we blew leads late. The game the other night at Rice, we led by 5 with 3 minutes left. Three turnovers and 4 possessions flipped that game around. And then on Black Friday, we played South Alabama and blew an 8-point lead with 3 minutes left. So we've had an opportunity to win a couple of games, but we haven't. And Landon Bussey says, "Hey, we haven't, and we got to figure this thing out." And he says he's not concerned, despite not winning in non-conference. He says he's not concerned. He's getting ready for conference, getting ready for UAB, and he says he'll be right there in March. So, but right now we're not. So I think that's just where we are right at this very moment.
Well, I mean, the key is to feel good about how your kids are playing. If they're executing somewhat and, doing the things necessary in order to try to get a win and getting after it, I mean, Coach gotta look at the bright side of things. No doubt about that. We all know, Carlos, that, it's murderer's row in terms of the guarantees and all that sort of thing. We know that going in. We just try to do the best we can with it. And the game is more mental now than it is physical for our kids. We got to keep the spirits up. We got to keep them hustling, keep them grinding, that sort of thing. And, like you said, conference season is right around the corner. So pot of gold is the end of the rainbow.
This shirt says nothing is impossible unless you're an AD in this conference that schedule all of those doggone non-conference games with money guarantee games. But but guess what?
These are the toughest games, Carlos. To me, I think these are the toughest games right now in terms of the calendar. I mean, let's just be real. These kids ready to go home. School's out. These kids ready to go home for the holiday. Get away from everything. Get away from basketball for a few days. Now, a lot of teams are playing during Thanksgiving and they play during Christmas. We don't necessarily do that. We got one game for our women, but this is kind of the grind here. These kids want to go home and enjoy the food, enjoy the family. So to get up for a game at this point, just a few days before Christmas, it's tough, but this is just kind of the grind that we're dealing with, that some of our teams are. Some have already gone home, but we got one more game left.
Well, and we counting dollars, Carlos. We counting dollars administratively. So the longer we keep our kids there on campus and nobody's there, the more it's costing us, the more we got to spend, because we got to feed them and everything else that goes along with that. If the dorms are closed, then, 9 times out of 10, you got to house them. And, so the quicker you can get them out of there and get them home, the better off we're going to be somewhat, from a financial point of view. Hate to put it like that, but from an administrative point of view, it's something that you have to take a look at.
It is what it is, but I guess with all of that great income coming in, it will kind of help. But I know what is a good feeling, and that's to all the JSU alum. 28-7 over South Carolina State, and as I sat in the luxurious Mercedes-Benz Stadium, I said to myself, "This is a thorough butt whipping." I mean, it was thorough. And when I looked at South Carolina State in that opening drive, I knew they were in trouble. I've seen Jackson State firsthand. They were the best team all season. Congratulations to them. They were consistent. And, you're jotting down notes and stuff. But one of the things, and I had one of my colleague, and he may be watching right now, we did a segment on Radio Row, which was outstanding. Quarterback. Something came up on quarterback. And do you want a game changer or do you want a game manager? you know where I went. I want a game manager, and I really thought Jabari Morgan was on point. Here's what I mean. He managed the game. He made all of the throws. He was calm. He was collect. And with a game manager, you put your game changers in position to make plays. And I was very impressed. I mean, he ran the offense crisp. Was he perfect? No. But he did a great job. And then let me talk about that defense. Shutout in the first half, gave up 7. The week before, in the championship game, gave up 3 points in the second half. And then prior to the games, the previous games, I think they gave up a total of 10 points? Defense wins championship. Offense that is efficient. I was so proud of Jackson State. And the SWAC wins the Celebration Bowl 2 years in a row. And then just looking at the crowd, you saw all kind of HBCU alums there. I saw Grambling Knights, Alcorn Knights. I started to take a shot at some of the Alcorn Knights. You're here to support the SWAC and your most intense rival. I know they put up 48 points on you. Hell, they put 41 on my team, but I'm here to support. Where's all the long faces at? Smile, support the Southwestern Athletic Conference.
Right. I'm like you, Carlos. I was proud to be a member of the SWAC, man. I thought Jackson State came out and represented themselves and the SWAC up to the utmost, man. They had a dominant performance in that game. I enjoyed that game from start to finish, man. And T.C. Taylor and his staff, man, ought to be commended because they were the most consistent team all year in the SWAC. And then they proved it. I like some of his comments. He was talking about how all they were hearing about was, how soft the SWAC was and that kind of thing. And he told his linemen, let's show them how it's played in the SWAC. And they took that to heart, man. And they played an outstanding ball game. And I'm just proud to be a part of the SWAC, man, because of teams like that. So congratulations to Jackson State and all of their alumni, but they represented the SWAC first class. Thank you.
And let me say this while it's on my mind. T.C. Taylor is one of the guys, and I know this topic is going to come up in coaching additions. But here's, and me, Coach Pettaway, we always talk about this. Here's a guy who came up through the process.
Right.
Was told to do the right thing. He got a job. A.D. Ashley Robinson, gave him extension. And then also he did something that the celebrity coach didn't do. He won a postseason game, and it wasn't even close. Now take that and smoke a cigar on that one. Yeah. He is the guy that you talk about. Give these guys an opportunity to coach. And miss me with the celebrity coaches. T.C. Taylor got it done.
In all actuality, Carlos, he probably should have been hired before Prime or at that time when Prime did get hired. And, TC came on board, that sort of thing, kind of knowing that his position was head coach in waiting, so to speak. And, but he didn't ruffle any waves. He got demoted one time from calling plays, if I'm not mistaken. But you never heard him whimper or piss and moan, that sort of thing. And when it was his time to rise, he just did it like it's naturally supposed to be done. So I felt bad for Coach Barry, because I'm one of his mentors, that sort of thing and stuff. Coach Barry and I go back over 20 years, and so I was definitely rooting for my mentee, no doubt about that. But I've always been a proponent of playing through the season. I never liked that rest thing, all that sort of thing.
You said it.
I always thought that was overrated. And when I started seeing the South Carolina State kids go down last Saturday, I mean, they were dropping like flies. Every time you turn around, was a trainer running out there on the field, massaging somebody or tweaking a leg or what have you, or dragging somebody off the field. And like, see, this is what happens when you're resting. But those kids who continued to played throughout the season, that sort of thing, didn't have any of those issues. They just had the gas pedal down and they were just going down the street.
Excellent point. Yeah, you did notice, and the flow of the game, had to stop. Had to stop because of the point that you made, and it also kind of reminded me of like the beginning game of the season because you've been off so long. Traditionally you see some teams, some players cramp up. So it was interesting, but once again, hats off to Jackson State. They got it done. They got it done. Charles?
Yeah, I'm happy for TC Taylor. I mean, I agree with Wheeler Brown 1,000%. I think, in my opinion, TC Taylor should have had the job 2 or 3 cycles ago. I think TC Taylor's name has come up prior to James Bell, prior to Harold Jackson, prior to Tony Hughes. You heard TC Taylor's name come up. And when I talked to him at Media Day, I just looked at his face and he looked at me. It's like he didn't know what he had. 50 new players, 6 new coaches, year two, and he just got it done. And just a dominant performance. And for all the talk of the offense, that defense led by a former Brave coach on the defensive side, Terrance, that defense to me is what won the day. I mean, and you talked about the scores, Carlos, 28-7, 13 given up against Southern, 10 against Alcorn, and 10 against Alabama State. So you do the math there, 40 points in the last 4 games. So for all the talk of the offense, it's the defense that, for me, for Jackson State, that's what wins championships, and their defense was lights out. But congratulations to TC Taylor. So happy for him. And yeah, Braves fans are still ticked off, Carlos. I was talking to one the other day.
Oh, tell them to get over it, Charles. Come on. Come on, man. Jackson State was the better team.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this on that. Yes, they were. But I think they were more disappointed still in the fact that we didn't come out and play. So I think that's probably where we're smarting on that. But, it's hard to tell people to get over it, and they get over it when they decide to get over it. And I think, it'll be in August for some. One that I talk to often is still mad, still angry when you even bring up the JSU game and the way the season ended. But I agree. We have to move on. We have to move on. But Jackson State was the best team from wire to wire. They were tested against Alabama State, passed that test, and passed every other test. So congratulations to TC Taylor. Happy for him. And, hey, he just got it done. Point blank, period.
Yes. Tell the Alcorn State fans, I don't know how much percentage you'll put on that, Charles, but, man, life goes on. The sun comes up. You're disappointed. Now you're looking to 2025. Coach Pettaway is like a defensive back got burned on a huge play. If he's still thinking about that the next couple of plays, he's going to mess up again. You got to have a short-term memory. But now, however, I know for fans, their memory is not as short-term. They're long-term. They can't forget. They think about it. Look, I've talked about JSU and the Southern rivalry. It's really intense. Grambling State is more family. It's not as intense. It's their number one rival. But, hey, I was there to support. And look, I posted that I'm supporting the SWAC in this. And so that means I got to support Jackson State if it's Alcorn, if Mississippi Valley, if it's Prairie View. I got to support them. And that's what I chose to. And I love my uncle, but he said never. Never. I thought he was going to write me off of his will. But guess what? I'm going to stand on that no matter if I'm the only one in the room. I'm going to support the Southwest Athletic Conference in the Celebration Bowl. But then after the athletic events are over with, you know what I'm going to say. We all still HBCU family, and we're all that we have is us. Can't count on nobody else anymore. And that's the way I feel about that. Dominant played for Jackson State, 385 total yards. South Carolina State, 148. No, wait, let me back up. 178 yards total. They only had 30 net yards rushing. And I know quarterback sacks are put in that, but it was dominant, Charles, as you said. Defense wins championship. In offense, you got to help out. You got to be efficient. And they were. So, on that note, we're going to take a timeout because our only guest of the show, he's backstage and listening. Coach Pettaway, I'm sure he's going to appreciate that special gift that you dropped off to him in Huntsville.
I got another one, but he got to come to Huntsville to get it, though.
Uh-oh. Okay.
I got another gift for him, but he got to come to Huntsville to get it, though.
Coach Pettaway, the bearer of gifts.
I got a big old gift for him.
I understand. We're going to take a timeout when we come back. But before we do, make sure you hit the like button, notification, not only for the Coach Brown Show, but all the shows on the Black College Sports Network. We would really appreciate it. Take a timeout when we come back. Special guest Coach Terrance Graves joins us right here on the Coach Brown Show on the Black College Sports Network. We shall return.
Tickets are on sale now for the 4th annual NBA HBCU Classic presented by AT&T, featuring Morehouse College and Tuskegee University. Don't miss this action-packed event happening at NBA All-Star 2025 and filled with competitive matchup and marching band performances celebrating HBCU pride. See you in the Bay.
HBCU football fans, this year's Cricket Celebration Bowl has a new date. A champion will rise at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on December 14th as the MEAC and SWAC champions meet once again. Join us in Atlanta for championship football, interactive fan experiences, and iconic marching bands. It's an HBCU family reunion that you don't want to miss. See who will be crowned the next HBCU national champion. For event and ticket information, visit the Celebration Bowl.
Looking for the ultimate cultural experience of 2025? The Zora Outdoor Festival of the Arts is where you need to be. From January 31st to February 2nd, Eatonville, Florida will come alive with incredible live performances from the Levert Experience and the Bar Cave. Immerse yourself in interactive art. Shop from over 80 vendors. Take a journey through history with a new virtual tour app. And enjoy family-friendly STEM activities. Plus, don't miss the unforgettable R&B tribute to the legends, honoring talents such as Whitney Houston, Marvin Gaye, and Luther Vandross. This is more than a festival. It's a celebration of Eatonville's rich cultural heritage. Visit zorafestival.org for tickets.
ESPN Events Band of the Year, a title reserved for the absolute best in the world of HBCU marching bands. A season-long competition that culminates in Atlanta on Friday, December 13th. Drum majors, percussion, drill, auxiliaries, musicality. All aspects will be adjudicated by expert judges in the world of college bands. 4 bands will qualify for the big stage, where national champions will be crowned. Follow us on social media for ranking updates throughout the season. And join us at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on December 13th. For event and ticket information, visit bandoftheyear.com.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. Yours truly, Carlos Brown, in a cold Baton Rouge. I can't believe I'm saying that. Cold Baton Rouge in about 40 degrees. Normally, guess what, guys? It was 80-plus degrees a few days ago. So, it's kind of interesting to have this nice, cool, cold, crisp weather. Our special guest now will join us now. He is a head football coach at Southern University. No stranger to the show, and we look forward to spending a few minutes with Coach Graves, and there he is. Coach Graves, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Coach, I know you. Oh, there you go. You're smiling. I was going to say, I know you're still tired after the season now in recruiting, and everyone is calling you and texting you for information. So how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Getting some rest. Good morning to everyone. And,
Good morning, Coach.
Sitting here watching my good friend James Franklin at Penn State and SMU play. I'm going back and forth from Penn State and SMU to North Dakota State and South Dakota State. So I'm resting today.
What, Coach? You're rested? I can't believe it.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for most coaches.
Well, that's them. I'm going to rest. The Lord made the world in 6, and He rested on the 7th. So I'm going to rest. No, 24 hours a day. No, not Terrance Graves. You can believe that. You can believe that one. That sounds good. That sounds good. It's 24/7, 365 days a year. Okay, right. Then next thing you know, such and such is in the hospital, such and such is, okay. All right, I'm gonna give you a strong 8, 12, 14 on some days, and then the rest I'm going to sleep.
Yeah. Get your rest. Get your rest. Coach Pettaway,
yes, sir.
You have something for Coach Graves. I'm sure you heard it, but
I do, but I can't talk about it publicly. They'll call it tampering. But what I got for him, Carlos, he would have to come to Huntsville to get it. You see what I'm saying?
Hey, wait a minute, Coach Pettaway. You can't go just because I'm waiting for an announcement out of Huntsville. But Coach Graves, you can go after the announcement there because I teased him about tampering.
I want to thank Coach Pettaway for that blessing that he brought me to Huntsville. Good morning to everybody that's chiming in. But Coach Pettaway, he blessed us with a nice meal for me and the staff. Later on that night, we had a nice setup. I tell you, it was right on time, Coach.
Yeah. Well, you're more than welcome, Coach. You deserve it, man. I like what you're doing. I like how you're doing. I like how you're running your program, and that's just me to you. And that's what the SWAC is. We family, man. We family.
Yes, sir.
We family. We family until that one day when we have to compete with each other, and then after that, we still family.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, I can learn a lesson or two about getting rest, Coach. Coach Graves.
You gotta have it, Carlos.
Oh yeah. I'm heading to the upper room. I'm going that direction, so I got to get my rest. With that being said, Coach, we appreciate you coming on again and spending some time with us. Take a look back at the 2024 football season. I know it just concluded in Birmingham. They picked Southern University to be 4th. You see that didn't happen, but as you and the staff now kind of dissecting the football team, your kind of thoughts on the 2024 football season?
Well, it was I thought it was a good season. Of course, it didn't end the way that we wanted it to end. Last weekend was a tough weekend for me.
Mm-hmm.
I had having to go to the Louisiana State High School state championship from Thursday to Saturday kind of took my mind off of things because if you know me, you know I'm the ultimate competitor, and not being in the Caesar Superdome and not the Mercedes-Benz Dome in Atlanta. I was really having a hard time trying to compartmentalize that, but I also know that it gives us something to shoot for. Hats off to my good friend TC Taylor and Jackson State. They did a tremendous job this year, and to the victor goes the spoils. But I don't take what we did lightly. I'm not going to let anybody minimize the accomplishments that my football team and our football program accomplished. To have been picked fourth in the West and then to win it outright. Hats off to those players and the coaching staff for doing a great job. Support staff, everybody, administration, everybody doing a great job because it's not just Terrance Graves. It's an entire village at Southern University. It's an entire village that makes that thing work. And so, I understand that, growing up around HBCUs and understanding how it works and functions, one person doesn't do it, and it takes an entire village. And so I'm very appreciative, and I'm humbled and extremely blessed to have the support that I have and we have. To win this first Western Division title outright in 21 years, that's huge. To win 8 football games for the first time in 6 years, that's huge. And so I'm not going to take a back seat. I'm not going to let anybody, minimize what we've done. And to play for the championship, we had our opportunities, and things didn't go our way. And like I told them, when you turn the ball over 4 times, it's hard to beat a bad football team with 4 turnovers. Now, when you playing against a good football team, then it just snowballs, and then it gets away from you. But I commend my guys because, they fought to the end. They played hard. Jackson was just a better team that day. And so I told him, I said, now, after the game, I said, if you don't like the way that you feel, I said, you got to get past, you got to turn the page. But remember, come January, when conditioning starts at 5:15 in the morning, remember this feeling when you don't want to get up in the morning. Remember this feeling when you don't want to go to class. Remember this feeling when you don't want to go to treatment and rehab. Remember this feeling when you don't want to practice. Remember this feeling when it's time to do community service. If you don't want to feel like this again, remember that feeling and make sure that you do those things to not feel that way again.
Yep, outstanding.
We're visiting with Coach Terrance Graves, head football coach at Southern University. Coach, I know a lot of times, people ask, we ask, if you had something to do over or something you would change about the 2024 season, would you do it, or is it that maybe we shouldn't think of it in that terms? Just think of it in terms of just getting better and looking at what we can do to improve more in 2025.
Well, it's always easy to sit back and say, if I had this to do again, if I had that to do again. It's not about that. What we did was we got better week to week, and that's what you want. That's what you want as a program. We got better week to week, and there's a couple games, that got away from us that I felt like we should have won, and that's probably the thing that's most disheartening about everything. There was a couple of games that got away from us. I felt like we should have won, but at the end of the day, I still take my hats off to my assistant coaches and my players because those guys stayed all in and they stayed locked in, and they got better every single week. It was a time that we were 2-3, and people were well, we need to, get rid of him and this, that, and the third or what have you. Those guys blocked out all the noise. They blocked out all the noise, and we just went to work each and every day, each and every week. I hear about, we had 3 overtime wins. And for a lot of people, they'll say some things, well, it's this, it's that. A win is a win is a win. I don't care if it's pretty, if it's ugly, if it's 1 point, it's 100 points. It's a win, because I tell you what, ask those teams that lost if they would have wanted to win. So that's how I look at that. And our team got better each and every week. And that's the thing. Yeah, and I told y'all, it was growing pains. It was growing pains. It was a lot of days where we was like, oh my gosh, you're scratching your head like I am now. And, some days, and I was like, Lord, is this for me? Good Lord, and, but at the end of the day, it is for me. It was for us, and again, I take my hat off to the players because they never wavered. They never wavered. Those guys, I tell you one thing that I was appreciative about is homecoming week when we played Alcorn, and it was a lot of question marks, and people felt some kind of way about us playing Alcorn for homecoming and this, that, and the third, or what have you. But our players, they just stayed focused. They stayed focused and they stayed locked in. Those guys didn't go to any events. They didn't go to any functions. As a matter of fact, they made the rules for that week. They said, hey, if you go to anything, if you attend anything, don't do what Coach Gray said. Don't show up for Saturday. Don't come back, period. So when those guys put that down, I said, okay, well, I heard it and I said, well, we got a shot. And so to see that type of togetherness and leadership, that was huge. And I think that let us know as coaches that we had those guys full attention. And like I said, it's, you want, it was some games that I felt like we should have won. We had an opportunity to win, but we didn't. But, you don't dwell on it. You move on it and you grow and you build on it. And I thought that's what we did. We did a really good job of building on those things. And the guys did a great job of adjusting to what we were doing.
Coach Graves, you notice how Charles' whole expression changed when you
I did. Because Charles was expecting me. Charles was expecting me to talk about the game, things of that nature. But Charles, I'm not gonna do that to you, Charles.
I would expect you to bring that up, Coach. I'm sorry.
No, I was just talking about the preparation of the week. I'm not even gonna do that to you, Charles. It's the holidays. I'm not gonna do that to you.
Well, Coach Gray, I gotta apologize to you. That homecoming atmosphere was off the charts.
Yes, it was. It
was off the charts, and I've said it right after the game. The following week, I broke every Louisiana Baton Rouge campus law to get on that campus. I drove on the median, on the overpass. I had to hit the curb to get to a parking space.
Yeah,
it was. But it was a wonderful atmosphere. Though, made a lot of money. It was a great atmosphere, a great day. So. I can't complain about it, and it was just a great football game. One quick question, Coach. I know you got to be tired. You talked about the overtime games. I mean, time after time in overtime, late games. I told the story. I was in the grocery store when y'all played Texas Southern. I was in the grocery store listening to the game. 30 seconds left in the game. I said, oh, well, Jaguars might open the door for us. I come out of the grocery store, and Southern has pulled it out. I'm like, oh my goodness. So my question is, Coach, that toughness and resiliency. I thought that was the key. You get Southern in the fourth quarter if it's close, you're all gonna find a way.
Yeah. I appreciate that, and it goes back to the mindset that we try to instill into our players is that you got to play until the end. The game is not over until it's over. I've seen it as a player. I've witnessed it as a player. I witnessed it as a coach, and it can happen. If it happened with other programs, why not us? And I told him, I said, listen, don't look at the scoreboard. Don't worry about the time. Don't worry about the score. Our goal is to win every single play. If we can win every single play, the rest of it will take care of itself. And fortunately, things worked out for us that way.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, I just want to say you did an excellent job this past year. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You had those kids locked in. You had your coach staff in step. When it was time to make adjustments, you weren't afraid to pull the trigger on whatever needed to be pulled on at that particular time. And, I would not have known if I didn't know that you were a first-time head coach. And from an administrative point of view, that's what you're looking for out of your head coach. You looking for a guy who can go out there and get it done in spite of who the kids are going to rally around. The games that I saw, I didn't see any, discipline problems, that sort of thing. I just saw kids locked in, kids grasping everything that you guys were throwing at them, that sort of thing. When you call the kids' number to get out there, they went out there and they did the best they could, that sort of thing. You flip-flop quarterbacks 2 or 3 times, 3 or 4 times, whatever combination you had, you did it. And the guys responded, and they got it together and brought it home. So that's a tribute to you, okay, and the way that you bring things to the table. So you got to take a bow on that at some point in time. Now, I know, haven't been a coach before, coaches don't wind down, they continue to wind up, that sort of thing. But I'm going to say this to you from one coach to another, okay, enjoy the ride.
Oh, yeah.
Enjoy the ride.
Oh, yeah.
Don't wait until it's all said and done, and then look back on it and say, damn, I did a good job in 99. 02 was my year, that sort of thing and stuff. Enjoy the ride, man. Enjoy the ride. But congratulations and great job this past year. Great job.
Thank you, Will. I appreciate that. And I really do appreciate it. And I enjoyed the ride as I was going. It was fun. It was fun, a fun first year for me. And I appreciate that. And I tell people all the time, I don't have a magic formula to win. It's my belief is to do what's necessary to win the football game. That's me. I mean, I don't subscribe. Everybody has their own philosophies and everybody has their own ways of doing things, but the ultimate goal is to win the football game, and it's a team sport. So if it's a team sport, then we got to put the best players on the team in position to help us win that team sport. And so I appreciate everyone, not just you and everybody. I've had people say, man, one thing about you ain't afraid to change quarterbacks. I was the other night. I was at a Christmas function the other night with a judge and some people in there, and they was like, one thing about you, Coach, I like about you is, man, you ain't afraid to pull quarterbacks. And this, I said, you don't want to do that, but at the end of the day, the object is to win the game. Mm-hmm. So if that's necessary, and it's not an indictment on them, it's not an indictment on anybody, because it's like any position. If we're not getting it done at the wide receiver spot, if we're not getting it done at the D-line spot, or the linebacker spot, or whatever, secondary, if a corner's not playing the way he's supposed to play, then he got to come out of there. And we got to, even if it's just to reset them, refocus them, and lock them back in, then that's what it is. But, and that's why you want a team of guys that are ready to play. And I take my hats off to those guys, because the majority of those guys prepared every week to play. And when their numbers were called, they were ready to go. So that matters. And so, it's again, the assistant coaches did a really, really good job of preparing those guys and getting them ready to go. My strength and conditioning staff does an awesome job. Sports medicine did a great job of getting guys back when, faster than they had, because, we got Chandler Whitfield back in 4 weeks, and it was said initially he wasn't going to be back until the Bayou Classic. And so for him, for them to do whatever they needed to do to get him back, and he was much needed at the time he came back was huge. So, you know, I appreciate it. And like you said, most coaches wind up, but I can assure you Terrence Graves is winding down. I'm going home to Norfolk, Virginia and spend some time with family. So trust me, I know how to wind down. That's one thing I know how to do, because I know how to get wound up when it's time, but I definitely know how to wind down.
Coach Graves, I think on the scale of 1 to 10, when you first came to Southern University, to what you're saying, I think you've kind of calmed down a little bit. You agree or disagree? Because, oh boy, I remember it was like, look out, boom, with Coach Graves. And, is it different from being an assistant coach to a head coach, as far as your team kind of takes on the attributes of a coach?
No, it's more age and wisdom.
I'm
not gonna give you if y'all don't know me by now, I'm not gonna give you a whole lot of coach speak. You know, it's age and wisdom. I was 23 years old. 23, 24. I was actually 24 because I did my first year at Winston at 23. But I was 24 years old, and man, I've always been high energy. I'm still high energy, but it's age and wisdom. And I remember Coach Richardson used to tell me all the time, man, you gotta learn how to decompress. Man, you can't hold on to it. Man, you can't. Mm-hmm. You just gotta. I know how you are. I know. He said you don't want to lose at nothing, but you gotta learn how to channel it the right way. And then some other coaches would tell me, they say, man, we know how you are. I know you, because I have coaches call me all the time. Man, I'm just checking on you, and I say I'm doing well, and they like, okay, well that's good, But it's age and wisdom, and because at the end of the day, the competitive fire always stays there, but it's just how you channel it, and then it's also, I'm always mindful of not just my players, but I'm also mindful of I want to be in a position to be an example for younger coaches. Mm-hmm. And when I see younger coaches like I was when I was younger, whether I know them or not, I pull them to the side and I say, hey man, I love that passion, I love that fire, but make sure that passion and fire is channeled in a way that is productive and not counterproductive. Mm-hmm. Because what happens sometimes when you are young and you're passionate and you're fiery, a lot of times, if you're not careful, your message will become counterproductive. And so you gotta hope that people are around and say, okay, you hit them over the head with this, you hit them over the head with that. Now try a different approach. And so, I hear people all the time, Coach, you need to calm down. You're gonna have a heart attack. I tell them all the time, I came in the world screaming. I'm the 8th of my children. I'm the youngest boy in my family. So I'm gonna scream and holler until I ain't here no more. So, I'm going to glory screaming and hollering. So, it's just that's just who I am. That's my personality. And trust me, I'm under control. I'm more under control than people actually realize. But, it's just that passion and that fire and wanting to win everything. And so even though I know you can't win all the time, but that doesn't stop the drive and the attempt to want to win all the time. If you go home with me to Virginia next week on family game night, I'm the same way I am on the sidelines. If I lose, I go nuts. I'm talking about, I'm screaming, it's rigged, it's set up, it's this and that. If I win, I'm dancing, I'm taunting and talking trash. So, I put them out the house if I don't win. It's just, hey, y'all go home. Game night over. That's just me. But at the end of the day, it's wisdom and knowledge, Carlos. It's wisdom, knowledge, and experience. Wisdom, knowledge, and experience.
Great answer, because I've seen both sides. Yeah, a little bit calmer. Coach, we appreciate the time. As usual, when you come on, you get all kind of text messages. The panel has questions. I still have some more. So let me do this. I'll take this one that was sent to me. Can you ask Coach Gray what's the process now in the off season to continue to elevate the program?
Well, we right after the SWAC championship game, we started back recruiting. We were actually recruiting all year. Excuse me, the week before the Bayou Classic, that open date, we had some official visits. We actually finished up some official visits this past week. We had some this past week, and of course, you saw guys committed and things of that nature. So, this transfer portal time right now is primarily for the FBS schools. It's really difficult to get those guys because those guys have the latitude to go from FBS to FBS. It's not like it used to be when the only way that you could play the very next year you had to transfer down.
Right.
And so, the FBS has that luxury of free transfer, and so it's tough to really get those guys. We've got some guys, and there's some more guys to come. We got some guys, and I've heard people say, "Well, I haven't seen it." Well, we can't say this guy committed, or what have you. They have to do it, and they do it on their social media platforms. Some guys I don't want to say they committed, because the minute that they say they committed, everybody else bombards them. And I do know this for a fact, that whenever in the past and even now, when I was coaching linebackers, if I had a guy that was offered and committed, the floodgates would open. And one of my good friends in this conference, he used to tell me all the time, he said, if you got a linebacker offer, I'm going to offer him, because if you offer him, I know he can play.
Yeah.
So, and that's good and bad. That's good and bad. So, we got some more guys. And then it's funny that the AD and I had the conversation last night. We were on the phone late last night talking, and I said, the dynamics of recruiting has changed altogether. And because of the transfer portals, and then there's another portal in the spring and all of that. So my thing is that traditional National Signing Day list is a fluid list for me anyway, and us here at Southern University, because we want the best players and we want the best fit for our program. And like I did last year, we recruited all the way up until camp. And we got some really, really good players who came in and helped us. And so I'm going to utilize, if the NCAA gave us those things to do, then I'm going to utilize. I'm going to be strategic. I'm not worried about signing 25 guys for National Signing Day. I'll have a number of guys. We'll have a number of guys that we'll have signed. But trust and believe, it's going to be some guys out there after the transfer portal in the spring that will be great assets to our program. So I'm not going to tie up all my money trying to get guys for National Signing Day when the NCAA has given us an opportunity to recruit, all the way up until, basically up until camp. So we're going to be strategic. And again, it's about the best fit, the best needs, what's most important for our program. That's what we're going to do. And we'll do that. I'm not caught up into what other schools are winning social media, putting, this guy's committed, that guy's committed, kudos to them. My job is not to win social media, win the championship on social media. I'm trying to win on football field. Just like I said during the SWAC Media Day, when the question was asked, Coach Graves, they picked you fourth. How do you feel? I said, well, you got to pick us somewhere. And the games have to be played. The games have to be played. And my players said the same thing. Coach, you said that the games have to be played. So, predictions are what they are. You got to play the game. So, we're going to it goes dead for us at midnight tomorrow. So we'll be dead all the way up until the first week of January, and then we'll pick up, and then we have the coaches convention, which it goes quiet then, and then it picks back up right after the coaching convention. So we'll be right back into recruiting, and then we'll start our winter conditioning program in January once the guys get back. They get back in school on the 13th. I'll give them a few days to get them acclimated, usually a week to get acclimated, make sure all their classes are straight, whatever. And then we'll jump right into our off-season conditioning, and we'll roll for strong 8 weeks, and then we'll start, preparing for spring football. So that's what it'll look like. We'll be in off-season conditioning and getting these guys back, getting them ready to go to make another run. So, but again, from tomorrow on to January, about January the 6th, everybody will be off, relaxing, spending time with family and traveling and stuff like that. And then we'll crank it back up, and we'll be ready to go. But we have, like I said, we got guys. We got guys that have committed, and guys on slate to come to Southern University. Again, we're not able to put that stuff out there until those guys actually sign. We got some guys that signed, of course, but the committed guys, they have to put that information out there. But rest assured, we're working. And again, it's not about the numbers; it's about the right numbers. It's about the right numbers, and that's what we're doing. I can't be concerned with the other schools, what they're posting. I'm only going to be, like I tell y'all all the time, we're living in the precious present, and we're going to do what we have to do for our program. So that's where we are with that.
Coach, and that leads me right into this. Top areas identified recruiting needs for this upcoming season. I know you just said you have some that are committed, some that have signed. Top 3 areas. I know everyone likes to talk about. Oh, and by the way, during the season, adjustment you made with Jalen Woods, third string, talking about resilience, talking about ready to play when the numbers call. I think he checked the box. And then also you did some, I say you, but the staff did some adjustments on the offensive line. A freshman and a redshirt freshman and then the change of center kind of kicked things off offensively. But the needs, your specific needs going into next season.
Well, we're gonna always recruit linemen on both sides of the ball, because you build your program inside out, and we're always looking for offense and defensive linemen to be more solid there. Of course, we're looking at some older quarterbacks. We have some young quarterbacks. We're looking for older quarterback, couple receivers. We'll sign a linebacker or two just for depth, and not for depth, but depth, but also use them for a lot of reasons, special teams and things of that nature. Got to replace a few guys in the secondary. So, but we still have a lot of depth in the secondary. So, we had 13 seniors, and then we had some guys, graduate and decide to get in the quarter, and we wish those guys well. So, just replacing those guys. But for the most part, you're going to start up front like an older trigger man, and a few more wideouts. It's not a, like I said, we had a relatively young team. Our junior classes was our biggest class. So we'll always look, because all my friends on the FBS level, they say the same thing. Man, we looking for linemen too. I'm calling them. Hey man, send me a tackle, send me a defensive tackle. Man, we looking for them too. I said, yeah, because y'all stealing them from us. So, I'm losing them to the larger schools. So I always want to do that, because you got to have those numbers, and the game is played in the trenches. If you can control those trenches, you increase your chances of winning vastly. So those are the things we're looking for. It's not a whole lot of needs, but we're gonna always look there to improve. I think we're only a few pieces away from doing what we want to do. So if we solidify that, and I'm sure we will, again, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. We're looking for the right pieces, the right fit. So once we do that, we'll be fine.
Coach Graves and Charles and the panel, I must admit, I was at the Celebration Bowl, and you're waiting for the game to kick off, and then on the marquee, join us week 0.
Yeah.
SWAC MEAC Challenge. I wonder why Mr. Grant always looks at me when I say SWAC MEAC Challenge and not MEAC SWAC Challenge.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Southern and North Carolina Central. Scouted out the stadium where the game's going to be played. I must admit, Coach, I was smiling ear to ear. Looking forward to that one because, the MEAC always – they talk about the physicality versus the Southwest Athletic Conference champion. And I saw Coach Oliver. At Radio Row. So it should be interesting.
Yeah, Trey and I, we go way back. We Virginia boys, CIAA boys. So, that's going. We talked about that already. We've been talking about that already. So we looking forward to that. That's gonna be fun. So I'll probably talk to him over the Christmas break because we usually do that, and that's gonna be fun.
Guys, this would be the perfect time to put up that picture. I took a picture and put it on social media. Coach Washington, Coach Broadway, and Brazil from Jackson State. Man, just the relationships. And Coach Graves, you know them all. I mean, that's the thing about HBCU love. You like to be very competitive on the athletic playing field, but afterwards, it's all HBCU family.
Well, the Bible says in order to have friends, you must show yourself friendly. And so I've always been that way. And I grew up under the old HBCU way. I'm in love with our culture and how, to grow up to see the Coach Robinsons, Chasms, Coach Dick Price, Coach Bailey, Coach Lou Anderson, Coach Charles Christian in basketball, Coach Pettaway, all those coaches, Coach Joe, those coaches put something on me and in me that's gonna last me a lifetime. And it's a brotherhood, it's a true brotherhood that I think sometimes we tend to get away from it. And I'm always an advocate, a strong advocate of guys. We compete on Saturdays and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we got to get to know one another. Yep. We got to be able to embrace one another and help each other. And the thing that I keep trying to impress upon these younger coaches or these coaches that come in that are not a part of the culture is this: just because we compete against one another, at the end of the day, it's incumbent upon us to get to know one another. When Connell Maynard said that, he talks to coaches, he tries to talk to coaches in pregame and stuff like that. Yeah, you need to. But because I tell them all the time, I'm going to extend myself to you, but I'm going to only socialize with those who are social. And because at the end of the day, you get caught up into this, he's at Southern and he's here, and that's the enemy and this, that, and the third. Well, keep that same energy when you look for a job. See, keep that same energy. See, don't see me when you're out of a job and then, hey, coach, how you doing, man? Da, da, da. It's not about that. Because what I tell them is this. It's not you gotta network and befriend those people that's in your circle because you don't know who knows who. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times you may not know that person, but I may know that person. And if we have a relationship, then I can call that person and say, hey, look, man, I got this cat. You looking for a wide receivers coach? Well, this cat that I know, he does a really good job. Da 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 da. Now I know you're gonna hire who you want, but at least talk to him and see blah 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 blah. And guys have gotten hired because of that. I've been able to get guys hired. I've been able to get guys interviews. Being in the game now 32 years. To be respected, and it's a blessing to have that. I've had guys tell me, if you recommend them, I don't even have to interview them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I appreciate it because those are relationships that we fostered and built over the year. Because guess what? They know that I'm not going to send them anything raggedy, and they ain't going to send me nothing raggedy. So, and that's what it's all about. And like you say, when you saw that picture, that's a picture, that you want to see. I mean, to be able for me and Trey and Mickey Joe and all the guys, E-Rob, Connell Maynard, all of Fred McNair, all of us, when we get together, at the conventions, we hold in court, and we telling those war stories, and I'm telling jokes, and the whole nine. That's what it's all about. And then when we try to show those younger coaches, hey man, y'all get to hang with the younger coaches, get to know those guys, because that's important. And if you don't do that, and the only time you want to talk to a guy is when you need a job, hey man, that's tough. That's tough. I mean, and so we gotta. It's a culture thing, not just because we compete. It's a culture thing to where our families become families. We become brothers in this thing, and then it's a situation when if you're in position, you can hire a guy that may be out of a job. Man, that's what they did back in the day.
Yeah.
Those coaches, and that's what's near and dear to my heart. You want to look out for one another. Everybody wants to win, but you want to win on the field, but we want to win in life, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. You want to see everybody be successful. You want everybody to win and everybody to be able to take care of themselves and their family.
Yep, that's it.
Well said. That's a message for Pat Riley. No, I'm not going to tell Coach Graves that. Coach Graves, he's trying to get rid of Jimmy Butler. I don't think the Knicks are interested in Jimmy Butler. Yeah.
Well, we can always add somebody now. You want to load yourself up with as many, as long as it's the right fit. Now, again, it's always fit. Fit is most important. But I wasn't gonna say nothing about the Knicks, but since you brought them up, Carlos, I mean, Cat showed up, got a standing ovation the other night in Minnesota. Played well, But I mean, hey, I said it's the holidays. I'm gonna be on my
best. I'm gonna have to talk with Coach Pettaway where I can find a nice landing spot for Jimmy Butler.
Hey man, that garden, he'd look good in the garden now. He would look good in the garden.
Yeah, much is given, much is expected. I would have to have a lot back in return.
Oh well, no, you
don't keep him.
Yeah, that's right. Keep it.
There are some deals to be made and had. Last thing, Coach, and we're gonna kind of get into it more after our interview ends. But JUCO players, and now I know you saw the
right.
I guess the recommendation. I don't know if it's official yet, but if you go to junior colleges, now you can get 4 years, I think.
Well, let me clear the air on that, because it's out there, but let me clear the air.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that the injunction was only made for the quarterback at Vanderbilt.
Yeah,
it's not. It does not cover all junior college student athletes. And until the NCAA comes out with a ruling or statement that qualifies that, because a lot of the junior college guys with 1 year of eligibility left, those guys are really trying to swarm that, but it's not. It's only for that one person, and the reason being is because the quarterback, he has exhausted eligibility. He's exhausted his eligibility. So the reason why he did that was because he played JUCO ball and he went and got that. Because here's the deal: come January 1, 2025, the athletes get a share of the antitrust lawsuit that they have.
Okay.
That he stands to make $1 million if he gets another year of eligibility. So that's why he did that. So, but it's only for him until the NCAA comes out officially with a ruling or a statement saying that about all junior colleges. That's not the case. That's not
okay.
right now.
Well, do you think? I guess I wonder if the NCAA will make that ruling.
Me personally,
eventually.
Carlos.
Yeah.
Me personally, Carlos. I hope that they don't do that because that's really going to destroy high school recruiting. It's already the transfer portal is killing high school recruiting. That would kill high school recruiting because now you're talking about guys, and then come on, we're talking about guys 25, 26, 27 years old playing college football. Now we open up a whole nother box, that Pandora's box of things that, come on, let's there got to be some parameters put in this thing, man, because the wheels have fallen off. I've heard Wheeler talk about it, Pettaway talk about it. At some point in time, we got to get back to some sense of normalcy and common sense. That's just, if they do that, man, that's, I tell you what, they might as well do this. They might as well do what they do overseas. And they may not want to hear it, but it's true. Universities will now be just for education purposes, and athletes will go to academies.
Right.
Or go to academies.
Yeah.
So and now you represent your state or your country or what have you. Because that's ridiculous. I love college football. But I'm just going to tell y'all, I don't want to coach 26, 27, 28-year-olds. I don't. I want them 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. There's a cutoff. But come on, man, 27, 28, 29.
Coach, I told them the other day, they're going to keep this thing going, Coach, until kids going to be drawing Social Security for their
Yeah, you did say that. Yeah.
Come on, man. We got it. Come on. At some point in time, common sense has got to prevail. And I know it's not a flower that grows in everyone's garden, but somebody's got to, come on.
Yeah, Pandora's box has been opened. The genie's out the bottle.
Yeah.
And we often talk on the show. I long for the days where how it used to be, and maybe it won't happen again, where you get a player in, he's a freshman, and you develop players. And I know it's the thing now where, hey, I got to get someone in that can help me win right now, and it's a quick fix. But, boy, it'd be nice to see those old days come back where you develop players and they're better. When they finish eligibility, they got the degree in their hand, and they're a better person than when they came there and a better player. But
get your 4 years in, get out. Let the next crew come in and get theirs in.
Right.
Don't hog up all the space. Don't take all the air out the room.
Yeah. Give a guy 7 years, 8 years. Come on, man.
Yep. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Thus, that is hopefully we're not heading off the cliff, Will. As far as
we hanging off the cliff.
Yeah.
We hanging. We ain't off, but we hanging.
Yeah.
Keep dangling.
Well, Coach, our next segment, tune in while you're watching the game, because we're going to get into a little bit more of the transfer portal impact. You lose some, you win some, and then also some of the coaching changes. Are you still looking for places to add pieces? But I will say this. I will be consistent. I always looking for the guy who's come up through the ranks, and they're just looking for an opportunity. And I'm not big. Everybody knows this. I'm not big on a quote-unquote celebrity coach.
Coach Graves, when you get to Norfolk, take a bomb over there to Norfolk State. Just set it.
Oh,
Just
Hey, look.
Just set it off. Get it out the way.
Hey. Hey, Willa, I don't have to do nothing. There's enough people in Norfolk that are so upset right now. I went on my social media page for everyone at home, and I say, please, will y'all stop going back and forth about that situation? Celebrate, enjoy. If you're an NSU alum, you love it. Just leave it alone, And so, I've said this before, and people gonna do what they want to do and how they want to do it.
Yes, they are.
My thing is, TC Taylor, myself, and others like me, it's good to see. That's why I was so happy for TC. I recruited TC out of high school to come play quarterback here. And so I've been knowing TC since he was in high school. But, you want to see those guys. I had this conversation the other night. And like I said, people are going to do what they want to do, and that's their choice. But it's hypocritical to tell us to come to our schools, play at our schools, graduate from our schools, grow, develop, work hard, do things the right way, and then when it's time for us, because I hear it in my head, boy, I can't tell you all the coaches, the great legends that say, boy, keep doing it because you got to take our place one day. You got to do that. So you work and you prepare for those opportunities, and then when those opportunities come, the first thing they say is, our people now. The first thing they say is, well, all he is an HBCU coach. We need to think outside the box. We need a coach from a FBS school. We need ex-pro coach. We need this. So you told me what to do, and I did it successfully. And now when it's time for me to take the reins, what you told me to do is not good enough now. It's a negative now because, and here's it now. Now watch this. I chose to do it. Not doing it because I can't do it anywhere else. I chose to do it because you said, stay here. We need our best and our brightest amongst us. And so because I chose to do it, when it's time for me to step up at the plate, now I'm penalized for choosing to do what you taught me to do. That's the hypocrisy of it all.
Yes, it
and
is.
Again, you do what you choose to do. People do what they want to do, what they feel is best. But at the end of the day, let's be real and let's put it out there. Don't penalize us for what you prepared us to do, and don't give us the opportunities when opportunities present itself. That's all.
Opportunities. As that word, Willa. And Coach Pettaway, opportunity.
Absolutely.
And then you wouldn't give us a sniff. You wouldn't even sniff at us when you were coming out of high school, look at our school.
Right.
And now we're supposed to give you a job.
Right. Exactly.
You want to work for us now. You good enough to work for us now, but we weren't good enough for you to attend our school. Okay, when you were All-American in high school, this, that, and the other, you decided to go to on the other side of the street to go to school. But when it's time to put some work in and get a job, now you want the hometown discount.
And your school won't hire you.
Exactly.
Right. That's the big thing. They want that.
Your school won't hire you. Or your school says you would be a great position coach. Now, I'll say this. A Hall of Famer linebacker went to the school in Waco, Texas. His college coach was the executive director of the American Football Coaches Association. When that job opened up, they interviewed that coach for 5 hours and never offered him the job.
Wow. Well,
I ain't tell you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know.
Yeah. Well,
I ain't tell you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know.
mm-hmm.
And so, and not only that, Wheeler, but when you were at the height of your careers, you had a great opportunity to sow and pour and put resources, not all financial, sponsorships, to put in our HBCUs, which your family members benefited from and things of that nature. You didn't do that either. So now you can't. Now you can't get hired by your folks. So now all of a sudden, it ain't no. Now we the greatest thing. And it's ain't no place I'd rather be. And I said that. I said, once I got in this seat, I said, when I got the opportunity to talk about it, I'm gonna talk about it. And so, I mean, you want the best and the most qualified people, but don't shun your own. That's all I'm saying. Don't shun your own, especially when you prepare them. When you and I'll say this, I say it all the time. I got 9 championship rings. 9 championship rings. I can tell you this without a shadow of a doubt. If I was somebody else, case in point, if I was an assistant coach under the legendary coach Pete Richardson, when we won 3 straight championships in the conference, went 3 straight years without losing a conference championship game. If I was somebody else, somewhere else, if I had a different paint job,
come on,
be one of the hottest, youngest assistant coaches in the country, and people will be running. I'm just calling it what it is. What it is. But when it comes time, again, when it comes time to step up at the table, not all of us, some of us, they use that as a negative. But now the minute that you decide to take your talents across the street, then is, man, he could be a great asset to our community. Man, he could be a great such and such. But when I want to be there, you don't want me there. I gotta eat some kind of way. I gotta take care of my family. I gotta support my family some kind of way. So which way you want it? Which way you want it? We good enough? We good enough to assist and help win championships? We good enough to coordinate? But then we not good enough to lead?
Got to be the head of the table. Come on.
And let me say this. It's only that way in athletics.
Come on. Oh,
only that way in athletics.
Go to old school here. On that, yeah, look at the conversations. Oh, as my grandma say, baby, we sometimes our own worst enemy.
We need to have these kind of conversations for us to grow. Absolutely. And this is that.
Oh, Jeremiah, God bless you. God bless you. God bless you.
Yeah, you just,
on that, yeah,
you ain't gonna. I don't even argue. You ain't gonna win that. So you just leave that alone. You leave that alone. You ain't gonna win that. That's just what it is.
On that note, Coach Graves, we appreciate the time. And,
yes, sir.
Man, say get that man one of them old church fans. I love it.
I remember that when you come into church and
yes, sir.
They waving them.
That's right.
Yep.
So,
but we appreciate the time.
Thank you for that, Coach. Thank you for that. We needed that.
I appreciate it, and I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all allowing me this opportunity to speak. And like I said, we have to be. It's not about me. It's about those that are coming after us. Because they looking at us. They want those opportunities as well. So we got to make sure that we doing the things to help them as well. And so it's never about just me. It's about us. And me being a HBCU, a 2-time graduate of HBCUs, and like I said, a career coach in HBCU culture because I choose to. not because I have to. I just think it's incumbent upon it. A lot of people want to say it. They want to say it, but they don't really know how to say it, or some are afraid to say it. So my thing is, I think it's a conversation worth having, and I think we need to have those conversations.
I agree. And sometimes we're going to agree, disagree, but at the end of the day.
Right. Because at the end of the day, you're going to do what you want to do anyway, but at least have the conversation. I tell my coaching staff and my players, we can agree to disagree without being disagreeable and disrespectful.
Absolutely.
Well, on that note, Coach Graves, I tell you what, we're going to probably agree and disagree for the rest of the show somewhat. But that's what make it good, because we're going to come back and talk about some potential hires that could come in. What was that? New York Knicks.
I thought you said you were going to talk about the New York Knicks. Okay.
No, Coach Graves, especially when my team is mediocre right now. I know when to hold them and to fold them, and I'm going to fold them at this point. Have a happy holidays, Coach Graves, and we look forward to talking with you again in 2025.
Okay. Thank you. Same to you all. Again, it's been great. I appreciate y'all. Go Jags.
All
Go
right.
Knicks. Go Knicks. Charles Brown.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Coach Graves.
All right, take care.
All righty.
All right.
He's rubbing it in, because that's what I would do with the opportunity. You know me.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We're going to take a time out. When we come back, it'll be more of the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. We shall return.
Morehouse College and Tuskegee University men's basketball teams were selected to compete in the 2025 NBA HBCU Classic presented by AT&T. The fourth annual NBA HBCU Classic will be played in the Bay Area as part of NBA All-Star 2025 and will once again celebrate the rich traditions, on-court athleticism, and commitment to excellence of the HBCU community. For tickets, visit nba.com/all-star. Tickets are on sale now for the fourth annual NBA HBCU Classic presented by AT&T, featuring Morehouse College and Tuskegee University. Don't miss this action-packed event happening at NBA All-Star 2025 and filled with competitive matchup and marching band performances celebrating HBCU pride. See you in the Bay.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. If you're just tuning in, you missed Coach Graves and Coach Pettaway. It's not too much you can add on to what Coach Graves was saying, but on previous shows, A.D. Wheeler Brown, you, Coach Pettaway, we've kind of talked about coaches getting the opportunity to become head football coaches. By the way, congratulations once again to Jackson State, Celebration Bowl champions, and I'm sure it's just a formality, HBCU National Football Champs for 2024. Congratulations to Coach T.C. Taylor and the staff. All of our JSU alums and supporters that are in the chat room, hey, congratulations. Coach Graves kind of hit on a little bit about the impact of the transfer portal um, for Southern University. I know a lot of people were texting me in Kobe Dillon, Noah Bowden, Xavier T-Set, Cameron Foster, Courtney Lyles, and I know I'm missing one or two, but they've left, and most of them have a year left or a grad student, Tyler Kirkwood. So that is the impact the portal giveth, and it taketh away, right? Also, coaching additions, and with Coach Pettaway, we're kind of waiting. I'm rubbing and I'm blessing my sources, talking with them. Still, Alabama A&M waiting for an announcement for a head football coach. Um, good source at Prairie View. Good source says they basically have their guy looking for an announcement. Now, when you look at the Prairie View situation, guys, it makes you think it has to be someone that is maybe still coaching, and they're waiting. Maybe they have a verbal agreement for that guy to be a head football coach. You can think of a couple of names that people are still out there coaching and employed with other institutions. Mississippi Valley has an opening. Who am I missing? There were also some stories circulating about possibly an opening at UAPB. But Alabama A&M, Mississippi Valley, Prairie View, in the Southwest Athletic Conference. Am I missing somebody, Charles, with openings in the conference? So, with that being said, outside of the conference, Elizabeth City, they hired a head football coach. Norfolk State, Michael Vick, boom, there we go, Michael Vick. And we've all made our position clear on the panel about those type of hires. Charles, you have told us, although you're not for those type of hires, it's still out there. And what is the fascination? Now, if I kind of peek in the chat room, sometimes you hear people talk about it's about putting butts, whether they're small, big, or large, in the seats. But Wheeler, when I look at Jackson State, they've most institutions have had
always led FCS in attendance.
Yeah.
Have always. When they had a little sister of the poor coach, they always led the FCS in attendance. So I mean, we can talk that nonsense. Michael Vick won't add one new fan to the club, or maybe a couple. We probably got some family members up that way that'll come to watch the team, that sort of thing. But it's not going to make a difference. I mean, Hampton game will still be a big game for them. I mean, but they play Morgan. Ain't nobody coming down there. They don't care who the coach is. Belichick could be the coach.
Yep.
It's not going to move the needle in terms of attendance. So we need to stop that misnomer right there, and just call it pretty much what it is. Norfolk State will win the press conference, and then I'm telling you now, it's all downhill after that.
So at the end of the day, it's going to come down to wins.
Who you going to? Who's going to coach for you? Who's going to be your assistant coaches? Are your assistant coaches going to be knowledgeable people who know the game, who can recruit kids, who can develop kids, who can make sure these kids are going to go to class, so forth and so on? Are you as the head coach going to be the manager, true manager of the program? Are you going to be able to make those decisions on 4th and 1 or whether or not to go for 2, after a touchdown, depending on what's going on during the course of the game, that sort of thing? If Michael Vick thinks it's just about standing up at the head of the line and just putting on the coaching gear and then just throwing the kids out there, he's going to be in for a rude awakening. This ain't something you just decide to do, just a hobby or playing Madden or something like that. I mean, you got guys that have spent their entire professional life
for that opportunity,
trying to build themselves up to where they can get to that point that you can now call me head coaching material. And after I've spent 8, 9, 10, 12, 20 years climbing that ladder, and I get 2 rungs from the top, and then somebody else drops in by helicopter over top of me. That ain't, it's just that doesn't make sense to me at all. It just doesn't. I may be in a minority overall.
Nope.
And whoever JT in the chat room, I'm hard on the Vic hire because Vic has no coaching experience at all. Zero. And somebody correct me if I'm wrong. 0, not Little League, not CYO, not anything. Not youth ball, nothing.
Well, I'm not an athletic administrator, but that would not be my choice or way to go. Once again, I'm going to give the opportunity to those guys who deserve the opportunity to work their way up. And if it was reversed the other way around, we've seen how many African-American head coaches are at the FBS schools. Not many. We got some. So we don't want to do.
Guys, Carlos, is our guys that are going to be on the outside looking in.
Right.
It ain't going to be the guys at the minority institutions. It's not going to be the black guys at the minority institutions on the outside looking in. It's going to be our guys at our level, at the HBCU level, that have worked their way up to try to get to that position. We're the ones that's going to be on the outside looking in.
And that's a shame. That's a shame.
Yeah.
That's a shame. Go ahead, Charles. You were going to say something.
You can add another name. And if you read Kyle Mosley's piece on HBCU Legends, he talked to Teddy Bridgewater, who just won a state of Florida. He's coaching high school, won a championship in his first year in the state of Florida. He told Kyle Mosley he got a call from an HBCU about a coaching position. He didn't name the school or anything like that, but he said he got a call, an inquiry about it. So you can add another name to that. And I read that yesterday, and I'm like, wow, here we go. I'm not surprised at any of this. I've been saying it, starting with Coach Prime, Coach Sanders. If it worked, I said it then, if it worked, you're going to see more names come out of the woodwork. I agree with Wheeler Brown. I agree with everybody. I am not a fan of it. However, when you have programs that are down and out, i.e. Norfolk State, and you're in a situation where you got to do something, try something, throw something against the wall to see if it sticks, you look at something like this. And because Coach Sanders worked, because Eddie George worked, they're in a position where they can say, why not? And
I'll tell you what you throw against the wall, Charles. You throw the budget against the damn wall. Yeah. You give these coaches more to work with, and see if you fund this program the way it needs to be funded, and they don't get the job done, then you can go in another direction with a clear conscience or what have you. But if you know that you're not supporting these coaches the way that they need to be supported, they don't have the requisite number of scholarships or, can't do this and can't do that, then you think the magic pill is to bring in a celebrity coach, and allow them to get it done with the same resources that you just gave the person who you fired.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I think the question is going to be how much is Michael Vick going to make compared to what Dawson Odom's made?
Good question.
And the other thing, I read a quote from one of the Norfolk State's foundation board members that said that, hey, she's been getting a ton of calls about this hire. And based on the calls she's getting, she said you're going to have to put folding chairs in the aisles based on just like in church. Based on the fact that she believes that there's going to be more butts in the seats and there's going to be bigger crowds and bigger energy. Now, I will say, just us talking about it here, but Media Day is 7 months away, probably 7 months from the day. You know, the three biggest storylines already, you can kind of frame it. Now, we haven't had a hire at Alabama A&M, Prairie View, or Valley, and we'll see what those look like. But right now, Mike Vick to Norfolk State, that's going to probably be the biggest headline in HBCU football. The second one is, can Jackson State run it back? And the third one will be, can Southern University run it back? Those are going to be the three big stories right now as we sit here at 12:43 Central Standard Time, 7 months away from Media Day. And we're going to talk about it all spring. That's going to be the big storylines right now. I mean, it's never too early to talk football, but that's going to be a huge storyline. I'm not for it, trust me. And I know we've been texting back and forth. If I'm an athletic director and I have had an opportunity to hire, well, first of all, I probably would get rid of the current coach that I came in with because that person's not winning. I get a chance to hire a coach. That coach doesn't make it. I get a chance to hire another coach. That coach doesn't make it. And I'm probably going to be out of a job at that point. But if I'm given a third opportunity to hire another coach to provide the sizzle and the sass that's needed, and even though some of that is on me, I'm doing everything I can to put the tools and resources in the toolbox. I need some excitement. I need some energy. I need some social media chatter. I'm probably would take the chance. And Norfolk State's probably got more social media chatter now in the last 4 days than they probably had over the last 4 years. Just based on what they just did. Now, whether it works or not, wins and losses, I think this year is all about Mike Vick. It's all about Mike Vick. Camera's going to be on him just like Coach Sanders. But as you said, Wheeler Brown, and it's true, at some point the football aspect has to kick in. Right? Games.
Oh, wow.
What is the expectation for Norfolk State in football? 5-6, 6-5. If you get to 6-6, you're in the middle of the MEAC race. Is that considered job well done? Or I mean, I don't know that part of it, but what's going to be at once you get past all the pomp and circumstance and all the glitz and glamour, when it's time to play football, like James Franklin said, when it's time to play football, what is the expectation for Norfolk State? That's kind of where I am on that. If they continue to go 3-8, 2-9, at some point, the football aspect of it is not going to work. And at some point, Mike Vick might even jump ship on that. But what's the expectation? Winning the MEAC? 5-6? What's the expectation once you get past Mike Vick? What's the expectation after that?
Maybe we can hear from some Norfolk State alums. You know, the expectations, realities. We talk about expectations on this show. Coach Pettaway.
Yes, sir.
For those who have that frame of thinking, then I'm going to be facetious here. Will we see Ed Reed in Alabama A&M? Ray Lewis? Michelle Obama maybe should apply for that job. Because we're talking about names and putting butts, and boy, she could put butts in the seat.
Right.
But wait a minute. You don't have any head coaching experience. It don't matter. For some, it don't matter. It really don't matter. But at the end of the day, when and I heard some key words here, resources. You know, giving as much as you can. And if you be transparent and you fall a little short, then alumni come in and help. You know, sponsorships and all of that. But at the end of the day, winning and then being consistent. That's what I like, Coach Pettaway.
Right. And I think I just think that the athletic directors all around the HBCUs just need to take a step back, and then they need to look at things, because are you going to be, if you're struggling to put money into your program and you bring in a celebrity coach, how are you going to make, how is he going to make a difference? How is he going to make a difference if the money's not there for the program, for the people that just left? And then if you bring in a celebrity hire and you give that program more money, that means that you didn't take care of the guy that just left.
Mm-hmm.
So see that to me, it's backwards, man. It's backwards. But it'll be interesting. I'm still waiting. I'm just like you all. I'm waiting to see what we're gonna do here at Alabama A&M. I'm waiting to see what we're gonna do at Prairie View and what we're gonna do at Valley. I just hope that the people will just settle down and do what's right for all these institutions.
Are you hiring me to coach? Are you hiring me to coach? Or are you hiring me to be a damn cheerleader? What you hiring me for? Are you hiring me to coach young men, to grow young men, to develop young men, okay? Or are you hiring me to go on the corner and hawk tickets? What are you doing? Because, if my program historically is being funded at a 500 level, it don't matter who you bring in. I may win a couple games over that at some point in time, but I will always be a 500 program because you have funded me for 500. And you can't expect me to win 8 games every year, and my funding says I'm only good for 5. It's not going to happen. Logistically and realistically, it's not going to happen. So we might as well just stop trying to kid ourselves on that one. Yeah. I mean, and I understand what Charles is saying. At some point in time, you got to try to roll the dice on some things, that sort of thing. But at the same time, we're sane people. And a lot of these folk who's making these decisions got doctor in front of their name or PhD behind their name. Okay, and damn it, it ain't making sense to me. You're a well-educated person, that sort of thing. Just seems like this decision or these decisions are coming pretty much off the cuff.
But you've only seen pretty much, you talk about Coach Sanders, and again, T.C. Taylor did something that he didn't, win a postseason game. So feather in T.C. Taylor's hat. And also Eddie George, it took him a while to turn it around.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when you look 40, 50 years from now, 100 years from now, and you go back and look at the historical context, it'll be only those 2 examples. Now, I wish Coach Vic well. And if he's successful, whatever their benchmark is for being successful, he wins a MEAC. I see some comments. It's like he will win the MEAC. I thought I saw one say he'll win it next year. Well, I don't know about that. Let's just say he has. Their goal is to win the MEAC in a certain amount of time. But Coach Pettaway and panel, we talked about the climate. You don't have 5 and 6 years like you traditionally used to have. Now you got to win. And when did this climate? When was it incubated? When did it start? I have a theory on that. That person is gone now, and they had success winning the conference very quickly, albeit they didn't win in the postseason. It seems like some of the schools was like, you know what? Hey, that blueprint did it. That's the blueprint we need to follow. Not so fast.
Yeah.
Not so fast.
Well, I'm gonna say this to Coach as far as Alabama A&M. I think Norfolk State and Alabama A&M are 2 different situations. Norfolk State has struggled over the years. Alabama State has struggled lately. I hope that Alabama A&M doesn't hire Ed Reed or the celebrity coach. I think that program is on solid footing enough to where they can get a good coach in there to be able to turn it around fairly quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it doesn't happen. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you heard Ed Reed's name mentioned for Alabama, at least kicking the tires on it. I hope it doesn't happen there because that program and Dr. Bryant is in a good position where I think he doesn't have to do that. I know the fan base. I think the fan base wants to see more winning, but I think they're not at the point where they're desperate. And maybe desperate is too strong of a word. You have some programs that are kind of desperate, Carlos. You have 4 programs right now in our league, 2 in each division, that are kind of, sort of, maybe, perhaps desperate. They haven't won.
Who are they, Charles? Now, are you implying Alabama?
I don't like to do that because I have respect for every institution in this conference.
I know, but for the record, to me, Alabama A&M is a gold mine.
I'm not putting.
I understand.
Mm-hmm. I'm not putting them in that category yet. I'm not putting. They're on the downslide. They can just
see. I don't think so. I don't think they're on the downside.
The games, Carlos, they have won over the last few years. They've beaten the bottom feeders in the East. Mm-hmm. They're the 4th best team in the Eastern Division. And then you slide some teams from the West over that, in my opinion, it's just my opinion.
They're better than some of the teams in the West.
I think it's say it again.
No, A&M is better than some of the teams in the West.
Well, let's just, if you just want to have a conversation, they're number 4 in the East. If you just slot the teams 1 to 12, okay. So the top 4 teams in the East, A&M is 4th. Is Southern better than A&M right now? Is Prairie View better than Alabama A&M right now? You can use Alcorn, you can use Grambling. So what I'm saying about A&M is that they're sliding a little bit, but they're not sunk to the point where they're one of the bottom teams. But they need to get a good coach in there that's going to stabilize the patient and get them back.
They do, and realistically speaking, they should be 1-2 in the East. That's where they need to be on a yearly basis. You know, that's where the funding is dictated that they should be. You know, they got the facilities necessary. They got everything in place necessary. Like you said, they just need to knock it out of the park in terms of hiring a good coach. And the expectation should be to be in the top 2 in the East on a yearly basis.
Right.
So I'm going to fund you in that manner.
Yeah.
And that's how I'm grading you at the end of the day.
Well, Carlos,
I don't believe Alabama A&M, and I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Coach Pettaway, Alabama A&M it's like Southern University. They don't have to go the celebrity hire
they don't.
Coach's way. No, they don't.
They don't do it. I think let's just give Dr. Brian a chance. I think he okay. The man has done an outstanding job since he's been here at Alabama A&M. This will be his first hire as a head football coach for the head football coach position. Let's give him a shot. He hit a home run when he hired his women's basketball coach. So let's just give him a shot, man. Let's just wait. We can't go by the street committee, man. Street committee had us having a coach 2 weeks ago.
I would be surprised if he went that way. I would be surprised. Just everything about him, everything about his makeup doesn't speak that he's that kind of a guy.
Right.
You know, he doesn't appear to be a roll the dice type guy, that sort of thing. He appears to be a cool calculator type guy, you know, that's going to look at the numbers, going to look at the body of work, the whole 9 yards, that's going to make an informed decision, you know, based off of facts and things that he sees. You know, as opposed to trying to be a gimmick type guy, that sort of thing. It just don't. That's not appear to be his MO at all.
Our producer emeritus. We got 4 minutes left, so we have to start winding it down. It's an interesting conversation. Since now less than 4 minutes. Closing comments, Wheeler.
Valley is gonna be Valley. Okay, I'm gonna call it like I see it. You know, Valley's gonna be Valley until they decide to put the resources into the program. They're rolling the dice. trying to see what's out there. Maybe they get a celebrity guy, maybe they don't. But you got some ADs, Carlos, that are going to look at it and do it the right way. Then you got some that don't have anything to lose. They're going to do what they do. But, we know where we all stand. And I'm going to root for them all regardless, because you don't want to see anybody not do well. And at the end of the day, we're going to keep it moving.
Coach Pettaway, quickly.
Real quickly, I want to send my condolences out to the Wyckoff family. We lost a longtime trainer, Freddie Wyckoff. And Charles, that's the only reason why I can't come down there tomorrow's family hour. And I'm looking forward to the game today. We play Samford University today, and I got the game.
Charles?
Braves football got to get back on track. I saw one of the posts, what about Alcorn? We got to get back on track. Bottom line, good recruiting in the early moments of the early signing period. We got to get back on track. And happy holidays, everybody. Happy holidays.
Yep, happy holidays.
Happy holidays to everybody. Quickly, it's basketball season. Can we get excited? I am. My team has 5 wins. Some teams have 0 wins. On that note, great discussion, everyone. Continue to have the discussion in the chat room. Happy holidays, everyone. Make sure you tune in next Saturday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time for another edition of the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. Until next time, peace and God bless.